I want to begin by memorializing the life of my dear friend, Tamara Rowe. She was a devoted mother, a selfless daughter, a faithful friend with a laughter like none other, and her memory deserves to live on. And while we grieve her loss, we also raise our voices to break the silence and to bring awareness, because silence allows abuse to thrive. I am honored today to be joined by our guest, the founder of A Way Out of Domestic Violence, Miss Amanda Houston. Amanda, thank you so much for lending your voice and your courage in coming forward to share your story. Thank you so much for being here today.
It's my pleasure. I am humbled, at the same time honored that the Lord would use me as a vessel to go through such a time that today I could be here sharing and helping those that need the help. And so this morning, he reminded me that even if my ex-husband wanted to love me correctly, he couldn't, because this had was to happen.
My God, that season of your life, though painful, it was necessary.
It was necessary indeed. So thanks for having me.
I truly commend you, my sister, for being one of those voices, because there are many persons who don't have the voice or may not know just yet that they have the voice to share. I was reminded through my friend's terrible passing that domestic violence doesn't discriminate. It can happen to anybody. So thank you for helping us today to talk about it.
Again, thank you for having me.
Yes, I know part of your story, right? But I'm eager to know, tell us please, who was Amanda before the domestic violence? What were your dreams, your goals? What was life like before it took a turn for the sour?
Oh, awesome question. Amanda was just a bubbly, jovial, fun, like to dance. I'm a church girl from birth. That part was rigid from the get-go. So I was always in church. I am one of 5 children of my mom and one of 9 from my father. And so I'm from a big family, a family of love, understanding, care. So I was nurtured to love. I don't know any other way other than loving. Growing up, I wanted to become a flight attendant at first. And then I decided I wanted to become an accountant. And so during my high school years or my school years, I did business accounts. That's all I know. Life before abuse, life before my story, my tragic, so I believe, story, was beautiful. It had its ups and downs. We weren't rich, but I had what I needed. And I think God had given me the grace to not ask for what I know my mom couldn't afford. And so I would say I wasn't of the worst, but amidst, I was loved. Right now, if you are in a room where my brothers are, you would think I'm the queen, because I get that. And until this day, they still love on me. And that was Amanda before abuse.
Wow. Looking back in hindsight, what were some of the changes that you saw in your life or in yourself in those years that the abuse progressed?
A few changes that I saw in myself is I felt as though I wasn't heard. I felt as though my personality was too much. I was told that I'm too much. I was often told to shut up. I was told that I have no sense. I was told that I'm not going to amount to anything. I was told that I think I know it all. And I was also told that nobody's going to take me up with 2 children.
So by this time in the marriage, you had 2 children?
Yes. But I can take you back. So my ex-husband and I met, I would say maybe 2011, via social media. However, this person knew me. We knew each other from we were kids. He migrated and he's now in the US. We connected and we became friends. Before you know it, we became in a relationship. It was a long distance. It was conversation, communication over the phone. Every 2 seconds. We were on the phone all the time.
So you guys were in love?
So we were in love. I came here in 2013. Shortly after I came here, I became pregnant. And about 3 months within the pregnancy, one day I remember I was getting dressed to go somewhere. I don't remember exactly where. And his phone was on the dresser, and a text comes in. And that time iPhone, the text will run across the screen. I didn't search his phone. I didn't touch his phone, but I could read, right? And so he got so upset, so frantic, so violent that I searched his phone, which I didn't. And he threw the phone. Honestly, I cannot tell if the phone caught me, but I know he came over and he smacked me in my face. This time I was with child, and so I packed up my bags and I said, I'm going home. Because one thing with this girl that my mom raised me, I'm going to always have some money hide somewhere just in case. And so I was really serious that I wanted to go home. He cried, he apologized, he begged not to leave. We're gonna do what is right. He's gonna give me my papers. I was also undocumented at the time. And so he's gonna make it work. And I fell for it. I fell so hard. I fell for the story that he told. And so it was a roller coaster from there because he wasn't a citizen.
Did you know that he didn't have his papers yet?
No, because he hides everything. And so I was told to not touch certain things, and and I respected that, right? I was raised also to honor your husband rather, and I didn't search his stuff. I believed what it was until so at this point I'm with child. The abuse started verbally, physically, psychologically, financially. So I'm a hustler. I do just anything to make my money, honestly, any honest thing. And so you find that I was doing here, I was cleaning houses, I was just doing whatever it is to bring in some money. And so I would want to send my mom some money. And he's like, you don't have it to send to her. So he was controlling me with finances. I would go to the supermarket. Oh, you're there too long. Every little thing. And so I started to see these things. And
these weren't things that you saw while you guys were dating?
No, you couldn't see. And some of these things you cannot see until you're living with the person. And that is one of the things where a lot of people say, oh, how do you know this person is abusive and you be with them? You don't see these things. Maybe 10 years later, you still, because they hide who they truly are. But how long can they really hide who they are for, right? And so before you know it, I was with child again, with my second child. When I went to 6 weeks checkup for me, the postpartum, I found out I was pregnant. Wow. And I was ashamed. I was so ashamed. I didn't tell anyone. I told my mom, and my mom talked to me maybe twice per week, every week. This is where the camera is, because I was so ashamed. Yes. And I was not proud of my second, but God knew exactly what he was doing. God knew I needed those 2 babies. And so he's still controlling, manipulative, and it's playing out so much that I became so depressed. And he has this lady that was supposed to be his mentor, but she admired me so much. She's a watcher. And she, would say to me, I don't understand your husband. Something is wrong with him. That was her terminology at the time. She said, when he comes here and, I would bake and, send food for you guys, he would sit and he would eat. But I noticed that when you come here and I parcel stuff to give you guys, you don't eat it, you take it home. And she said, something is wrong with that man. I don't know what is wrong with him. I don't know what is going to take him for him to see the great woman that you are. And this is an older lady. And she would, embrace me, and she would tell me how much she admired. She said, oh, you cook like an old lady. You have an old woman in you. And, that was my little strength.
Yes.
And so I remember I was working at this place where I was getting $5 an hour. $5. And so when it's slow, I don't get to work. But again, I don't let that faze me because I'm a hustler. So I left that place, and somebody called me to do it here. However, we had a disagreement earlier. So I didn't tell him that I'm going to go and leave the job and I'm going to do it here. And I saw this lady calling me constantly. I answer. She's like, where are you? Your husband keeps calling me, asking me if I see the car outside. I feel like he's going to put his hands on you. And I'm praying. And, so I know what to expect when I come through the door. And when I came home, I finished there and I came home. He fought me like a man. He fought me like a man. My chest all bruised because I'm light-skinned. My back all bruised. And I didn't know what to do. And so I started taking the chart plates and I just start mashing them because I'm crying for help. But how do I say help? And I'm trying not to get emotional. And I think the guy downstairs, he called the police. And And shortly, the police came, but nobody answered the door. So he didn't know where exactly to go. And the lady and her husband at the time, thank you, they came and he opened the door and he let them in. And she's like, did you hit her? Mind you, the lady's looking at my skin. She knows.
She can see.
And he's like, no, I didn't hit her. Da 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 da. She break up the dishes. No, he's playing the blame game. And her husband is talking to him, and you know, he just didn't accept it. And so when he calmed down, and I was looking at my 2 babies, and I said, God, you didn't give me these babies to live like this. I said, if this is the life you want for me, I'd rather give them away. And I was serious. Because when I look at these 2 kids, they were angels. They required and they deserve so much love. And that's nothing I wanted my babies to grow in.
See.
And so, I'm sorry.
Take your time.
By right, this is the first time I'm sharing publicly my story. Didn't expect to cry.
Take your time.
And believe that I'm healed. But you know, sometimes just the memories of what you endured, it's painful. It's heart-wrenching because why? You know, and so the same night he called someone on the phone and he said to them, if the police arrest me tonight, make sure she goes back to Jamaica. And he started to threaten me like, oh, if you ever tell anybody what is happening and this and that, and you know. And there were nights when I didn't want to sleep with him, having sexual intercourse, and it was forced. Because, hey, no, we're married and you're mine and you cannot tell me, and, you know, you're not supposed to do anything without me. Don't spend no money, don't send any money to anyone without me. It was bad. And then when I said I'm leaving, who you think is going to take you up with 2 children? You know, who you think? Nobody's going to want you. I'm the only person that love you. Oh, your family don't even love you, you know. And
so there was a lot of psychological control
yes.
and manipulation. So outside
yes.
of the physical abuse, he was also using his words to
yes.
speak down to you and to devalue you,
yes.
to take away your sense of self-worth,
yes.
your identity, and to just keep you feeling controlled.
Yes. So mind you, he thinks in his eyes, America, I'm not accustomed to you, I'm new, so I should go with what he says. And so I remember one day I was taking my eldest to the doctor and it was a snowstorm and it was so difficult. I didn't know about the plastic over the stroller, so the baby nose is running, everything, I run everything wet like it's crazy. And I said to him, I want to buy a car. And so I said, whenever you do the taxes, I need his money to buy a car. And so he did give me the money, we bought a car. He registered the car in his baby mother's name.
Amanda, stop right there.
Yes. And I said to him, I said, why would you do that? I said, God forbid you die. I don't have that car because she has control. Oh, you just come to America and you think you know everything. You don't know nothing. I said, the law in Jamaica is the same law here.
So you bought a car to get around you and your children because here you are, snowstorm, and you needed a means of transportation.
Yep.
And he put the car, your car, in another woman's name.
So, again, by lack of knowledge, my people perish. And so we move on from there. And I remember, I have to share this part because it is very critical. And the truth is the truth. He got me a job at this cleaning company. And by this, I still was undocumented. I was working under his baby mother, the same one that he registered the car in his name. We did the application. I don't know what a social is. He gave me her social security. And so by now I was working under her name. When I got the check, I was like, he's like, she knows about it, whatever. I said, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to work at this place. But the force, you know, it's a job. You think you know everything. I got it covered. And so I worked at this place for about 3-4 months. When I got the check, he cashed it, he deposited, whatever. And the tax season came. I got the W-2 and I gave it to him to give to her. I said, you know what, just let her have it, whatever. I don't know what the deal is because I don't get to talk to this person. This person always wants to fight me because in her high, I took her man, which was the truth. I wouldn't know because I was in Jamaica talking to him so much. Where on earth you're going to have time?
Know that he was in a relationship.
I did not know.
Okay.
And so when I came here, she was very frantic. She wanted to fight me, but I couldn't understand because he said, oh, don't talk to her. You know, he told me so much bad about her. And obviously, I knew some of them were lies, but I'm not one to go face a lady either. And so I kept my distance. Anyways, tax season came. He didn't give her the W-2 that I gave him to give her. So she called, who's working on my this? But they already had an agreement before I came in place that the person would work and pay her, give her money from it. It was no money. I wasn't really making any money, so she wasn't getting anything. But because they had an agreement, he said he was going to fix it. And so I'm going to call immigration. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. No, my heart dropped to the ground. No, because they're going to deport me. I'm going to lose my children and the whole works. And so God blessed me with this lady. I was working with this lady now where doing Omeltaid. The lady loved me so much, and I know it was all God. So the car that we bought, I would just come out in the morning to take the kids to the daycare, and there was no car. He would take the car and go wherever, do whatever with the car, because he wanted me to stop working. And so the lady didn't do anything, but she came to me and she said, Amanda, I don't know, but there's something about you. I'm going to give you my car.
Wow.
And you can use it for the week. And on the weekends when you don't work, you just make sure it's full with gas. I'm undocumented. I don't have a license.
And she just give you her car?
Yes. So amidst all of it, there was God.
Yes.
And so I was working with this lady, and when he took away the car and I was still going to work and I wasn't calling him and arguing with him, he called me arguing. Oh, you're this. And then he said, I'm going to call immigration and report this lady for hiring me to provide for your children. And so it was so, yeah, I was this thin.
Wow. Amanda, I'm hearing something as well. I'm hearing that there was a certain level of fear that was imposed on you, correct?
Yes.
Because you were fearful of, because you were undocumented. He had that control, but also drove that fear in you that he could have you deported from this country, maybe locked up, the kids would
never
be
see my
taken
kids
away.
again. He told me you would never see them again.
The kids taken away, my goodness. So you had to,
play along. I had to play along. I said, God, when? I said, when are you going to fix this? I remember one Sunday I cooked. I cooked and I can't tell what the argument was, but it was so much. And we were living across from a school, and I was in my duster. And I just put on my slippers and walk. And I said, God, how long? How long will I have to endure this? Mind you, at the time I didn't know that God had an assignment on my life. I didn't understand. I didn't know my way out of it. I didn't know that it would eventually end, but it was so much. And I said, God, how long? How long will this last for? How long will you sit up in heaven and watch me go through this? Yes, I might have put myself in it, but you're a God that can do anything. How long? And I went, I walked, and I cried, and I came back home. And every time I look at my children, there was this peace. They were so loving. As a child, as children in a home, they weren't affected. They were just always bubbly. They were so much joy. They had so much to offer. I remember one day I sat down and I was crying. And my elder said, Mommy, everything is going to be okay at maybe 2.
Wow.
So the Lord had them ministering to me during that. He would come and he would say, Mommy, you're so beautiful. I hope you know that. He would come and he would say, Mommy, there's going to be a day when you stop crying. And I didn't understand. And so the years went by. The threats continued. The financial abuse, the control, the manipulation. And about this time, I became so overwhelmed, overworked, tired. He was working at a job at night and he goes to work at 10. And so because I was the driver, I was his chauffeur. And so with the babies in the snow, the bliss, the bad weathers, I still have to take him to work. And so if the kids are sleeping, I have to wake them up, get them ready, take them out, park the car in the street park, struggle with 2 kids in the house after 11 at night. And so I said, I'm going to ask my sister to come and help me because I'm tired. And I was falling asleep at stoplights with the 2 babies in the car because I can't say no.
So you were working, taking care of the children, and still have to be carrying him around. Mark you didn't know what you were getting involved in. And that's what I want people to understand.
No.
You did not know because this was someone who fed you so much lies. I'm guessing he created a picture of America and the life that you guys would be living. And so he took you from Jamaica, brought you here, promised to give you your citizenship or your green card and create a family together. And it's not until after the fact, after 2 children, working yourself to skin and bones, that you're realizing that this man cannot help you because he's undocumented.
Even if he could have at the time, the hurt wouldn't allow me to receive it. So now at this point, I was living with somebody that I don't love. I know he wasn't the one for me.
And he didn't love you because of the ill treatment that he meted out to you.
He did not. Because slowly and surely now the lies are unfolding, and I can now see things for what they are. And so I remember we had an argument, and I tore up all our pictures that we have together. I was frustrated. I tore them up, and he said, "Oh, I think I'm you want papers, and I'm you want papers, and I'm stuck and can't go nowhere." Wow. And so he said, "Sit down there and think I'm gonna go get the papers for you and do what you want for you to get your papers." So I said, "Okay, I'll listen." Because when he talked, one thing I'm gonna listen, because you listen when people are upset. And so he said all what he said, and I said, "Okay." I called immigration. I requested the paperwork. They mailed them to me. They told me what to do. And so I was putting the paperwork together, and I called because we had to get an affidavit based on what I was told, and I did everything. And because he's not a citizen, I came out one morning to go to work, and the 4 tires on the car is slashed.
What?
The 4 tires on the car are slashed. Car is flat. So he's in the house. I called him. I'm like, I don't know nobody. I don't have anything with anybody. All the cars parking on the street side. This is the only car.
With
4 tires.
All 4 tires slashed.
And so he came out and he started blaming the baby mother. He called her so frantically, cussing her. She did it, and he's going to call the police and da-da-da-da. And I'm lost. I'm confused. But she didn't do it. It was him. Because it was a tactic for me not to
go to work.
No, for me not to put in the papers, because I had the money. I was putting all the paperwork together. I was getting everything together. So it was a tactic, because he wasn't a citizen, and I would know that he's not a citizen.
So the extreme that he went to, Amanda, he cut the tires on the car so that once again you're stuck, because here you are now.
I have to buy 4 tires.
Finally going to be able to get a sense of hope and independence where, being in right standing with the law and, no longer under fear of getting deported. And he
slashed all 4 tires.
Amanda, what did you do?
I was confused. I was looking at him, cussing her. Like,
he was cussing her, blaming her.
Yes, you slash it, I'm going to call the police. And he didn't call the police. And I didn't know all of this until I was out of the relationship. I wasn't really blaming her, but it all made sense at the end, right? To distract me, to slow me down, to, deception. It's the deception. And so my sister is here, and my sister came, and we were going to the store to buy her the necessary things. She came maybe Saturday, today, Sunday evening. We went to church, and we're going to the store to buy the necessary. I want to get my sister necessary stuff so she have what she needs. And while we're going to the store, his children with the other lady was there, and I love those children. And I told him to get dressed. We're going on the road, and he said, "Take off your clothes. You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere." So I said, "Okay." So I took my 2 boys, and my sister, and we walked down the street. There was a Walgreens at the time. And while we were walking down the street, I get some text. "Your girl, you're not come to nothing. Anything you run down, you're going to get it." I'm confused. Anyways, I'm enjoying my sister. I'm not paying no mind. Because it's strength, right? And so the night my sister is sleeping, we were talking, and my sister had mentioned to me that when she had come to help me for such a time, and she said she's not going to go back home. She's going to go stay with a friend. And I was encouraging my sister to go back home. I said, "Look at me. I didn't come here to friends. I came here to a whole man, and I'm still undocumented. Go back home. When the time is right, you can go and come, And she said, "I don't know what she's going through, da-da-da-da. She's not going home."
Because at the end of the day, America looks like a better future. It looks like a promising place, especially when you come from a third world country or a developing nation. America looks like the land of opportunity.
And so I was saying to him, we were arguing, and he's like, "Why are you encouraging your sister to stay?" I said, "Me? Why would I encourage her to stay? And I came here to a whole man, and I'm still undocumented." And oh God, that was the worst thing. Anyways, we went to bed about 2 o'clock in the morning, because again, this person worked at night. So any girl, side chick, or anybody like that would call him at night. And so about after 1, 2 o'clock, the phone starts ringing, nonstop ringing. He keeps hanging it off. I hear the phone ringing, so I got up out of my sleep, took up the phone, look at the time, put down the phone, lay back down. He pulled the sheet off of me. He took up the phone. Who calling you? So he's now blaming me. I look at the phone, and he's blaming me that I received a call, which I didn't receive any call. So this is the person that goes through every message. So I text my best friend, and I said, "Imagine, my sister just got here, and he's acting out already." And he grabbed me off the bed and, he started fighting me. And now, because brain knows that somebody's here with my children, I fought back. And we wrestled, and I fought, and I fought. And so in the means of the fight, he bit me on my hand. And it seemed as though when he bit me, he bit the vein to my small finger. And so when we let go of each other, my hand was just going like this, nonstop, swollen immediately because I guess the blood stopped circulating. And it's going like this. I'm in my duster. Again, I put on my slippers. And I had 2 phones at the time. I brought one to my sister and I said, I'll be back. She's sleeping. She don't know what's happening.
She didn't know what was going on.
And this is about 2:30 a.m. And I start walking down Blue Hills because I tell myself, this is it. I'm not. At the time, I saw myself as too much of a wife. I was the wife that cook, clean. I was the wife that listen, even when I have no care. I'm the wife that cleans down to the dustboard. I knew I was doing my role as a wife. And I said, God, this is it. And so I started walking down Blue Hills, and I decided I'm going to go to St. Francis. And this is about 35 minutes walk, 2 a.m.
Wow.
And I just started walking, and I realized that when I'm walking, he started coming behind me. And I was walking fast because a girl is finding her way out of this. And so there was a police at this convenience store. I didn't stop. He saw the police and he slowed down because he's afraid. He don't know what he don't know what's going to transpire. So I walked by the police and I head to St. Francis. I went to St. Francis. I get there about after 3 a.m. and they're asking me what happened. They started treating me for squirrel bite or something, rabies, something out in the woods. Now, St. Francis is where I have my 2 children. So he's on the record for next of kin. And so I wouldn't tell them what happened because I know I want it to be this. This is it. And so the fear of losing my children, all the bad things going through my head. So I wouldn't talk. And so they're treating me. And so the nurse said to me, if you won't talk, we're going to call the police. And she said, better yet, there's police. This is the time when they bring in the prisoners. So she got a police and the police came. And the police is asking questions and I'm not responding. And so the police, they go in the system, they share his information with the police. It's in America. The police called him and said, Mr. So-and-so, why is Miss So-and-so at the hospital by herself? He said to the police, she took away my phone, searched my phone and bust my mouth. Now, any smart person could know. I mean, I did bust his mouth, but I was like this. And the police was like, no. So the police said to him, where are you? Because we're going to arrest you. And he gave the police wrong address 3 times. They treated me. No, he told the police that I busted his mouth. So the police said to me, you have to give me a statement because he said you busted his mouth. The police said to me, I don't want to hear what happened yesterday. I want to hear what happened right before you came here. He gave me a paper and a pen and he said, take your time, think about it and write what happened before you came here. That's all I'm interested in. So I'm there hearing that they went to Weathersfield because he told them he's at Weathersfield first. And when they went there, wasn't there. And the radio, and they said he wasn't there. And so they're running his file now. And now he had a warrant. I'm hearing that he had a warrant because he was abusive to the ex-wife. I didn't have no knowledge of any of this. And so I bust out a cry because I'm thinking of many things. Police could have pulled me over driving and I'm driving with somebody
who's a wanted man.
Right. And I'm like, who did I get myself involved with? All of these coming through my head. I'm like, God, no, if I get deported, who's going to take my children? He's going to jail. And so I got peace. Some peace that surpasses all human understanding. And I started writing. I wrote what happened and the police, he said, I'm going to take you home because I have to make sure you're safe. And he said, why are you crying for him? He did this to you and I'm sure he did way more that you're not telling us. And so the police is taking me home. And when the police is taking me home, we're like 2 minutes from the house. There was this man walking down the street. He saw the police. He looked up and I started crying and he started running. He started running. The police, no radioing at the police. It was like going for a high-ranking criminal. I'm in the car, chasing with them. Police, him jumping over walls and fence, and
it was bad.
It was horrible. This is 6 a.m. Police are just coming to work. They drove him down. They jump over fence with him, mess up their uniform, so you know they're going to be extremely angry. They cornered him and they had him on the floor and he wouldn't surrender. They had to stick him up. I couldn't watch, honestly. I held my head down in the car. So if they had killed him, I wouldn't know. Because I'm like, God, what kind of a demon, I can say today, was that? And so they arrested him. I went home. The police came in the house with me. So my sister is waking up to police. And it's like, what happened? Because the police had to verify that the kids weren't being abused and they didn't witness what's going on and they weren't home alone. And so he got arrested, faked an heart attack, went to the hospital. He dismantled the car key because he put my birth certificate, all the paperwork that I had for immigration, the kids' birth certificate, my debit cards, every form of identity. He hid them in the car and threw away the car keys. So when I go home and to show an ID or anything, passport, anything to this police, I am an alien in America. I am non-existent. I don't know how I came here. And so I don't remember where I got money from, but I got money. I had to pay somebody to come and open the car.
Wow.
And when I opened the car, I realized that that's where he hid the documents. I found a phone of his, and then this is rapid, like a day after. And so I found a phone of his. I'm thinking of all the passwords I could ever think of, and I got the phone open. And in the phone, he have his phone in the hospital, texting somebody that I poisoned him, and he's in the hospital, and his family. So that's the word on the street. Me and my sister poisoned him, and he almost died, and he's in the hospital. He didn't tell anybody that he abused me. And so when he got arrested, I called his mom, and I said to her, she was one of the first person I told before I tell my best friend or anyone that her son was abusing me. And she would give me every excuse in the book. I shouldn't talk back at him. I should do this.
Wow.
And I cannot really blame her because I too did ask her not to say anything to him because I didn't want. That was it. I've never heard back from her. I've never spoken back to her. And so I was in communication with his brother because I want him out of jail. My heart is still,
Let me understand something. He was finally getting the punishment he deserved. He got locked up. And you wanted him out?
Yes. Again, I grow to believe everything he was saying. Again, he's still my children's dad. He was somebody that I loved for years. And I always just believe that God gives me the heart of Jesus. And so here I am, feeling guilty, feeling bad for somebody that wrecked me. And so I remember I called the police. I called the police station. And the police said, if you call back, I'm going to arrest you.
Hold on. The police said, if you call back, they're going to arrest you.
The police said, are you crazy?
Because here you are not the only woman he's abused.
The police said to me, if you call us back, we're going to arrest you. You have to understand that persons that are living in abuse for a time, they grow accustomed to the environment. So if somebody that smokes in their car or in their home, that odor, they don't smell it. But somebody comes in and they're like, oh my God, it smells horrible in here. That is because the person that lived in that environment grew to be and survive in that environment. And so when he got arrested, I was like, okay, like him not calling me to argue, I missed that.
Wow.
I missed him not being at the house. It was like a part of me is void. And so DCF got involved because of the children. And I want to say DCF is not a bad thing because DCF helps me to be where I am today.
Wow. Say that again, because oftentimes there's this stigma around DCF and social workers. So I really want persons to understand what you just said. Say that again, Amanda.
I'm saying this to the general public, that DCF is not a bad thing. It is not meant to hurt you. It is not meant to separate families. It is not meant for any of that, but it is there as a corrective measure. It is there as a measure to help in regards of the children's safety. It's not about you, but they're there for the children. And so one other thing was when we got the protective order, DCF got involved. He wasn't supposed to come nowhere near the house. And so he get out of hospital, jail, whatever, wherever he was, he got bailed. And so he called me and he's like, can I come home? And I said, no. When I said no, It's like it's the only no he ever heard in his entire life. You are wicked. Imagine I take you here and this is how you do me. And my kids need me and this. And how are you going to pay the bills? And I didn't know how I was going to do it. But I know I wasn't going to risk him coming to the house because persons done it. They let them come there at night and leave at the break of day so they can still have their good time living in the misery, you know, and putting their children at risk.
Yes.
Because when you do that now, and if DCF should ever find out, you lose your children. And I wasn't going to lose my children.
So no matter how much you love this man, you loved your children
I
more.
loved my children more, and I knew that they deserve better. So I was now put in a place to do a self-introspection. Baby girl, what do you need? Where is the Amanda that was so jovial, that was so, you know, joyous, that has that warm spirit? You know, I started to yearn her again. But one of the things that still had me bound was the home that we created together. Everything smelled like him. And so I was miserable. The pillow, the sheet, no matter how much wash I wash, no matter how much clean I clean, his presence was still there. And so by this, he decided that he's not going to pay the bills. He's not going to pay any rent. The car, I would sometimes come and the car is there, go outside and the car is there. Sometimes it's not. And I remember about 3 days straight, he took the car. And I said, okay, I'm not going to pay for this car. Mind you, it's not registered under my name. So you see how it works?
Things are working together for your good.
Okay, and so I decided I'm not gonna pay for the car, and they sent me the note that they're gonna repo the car, and I didn't care. I'm like, okay, I'm not driving it anyways, and so they repo the car.
Good.
And now I am taking the bus. The DCF guy, he wanted me to go get food stamps and cash assistance. No. He's telling me over there, what list people do them something, and nobody from Jamaica now come here call live my food stamp and, you know, whatever. And so I did what I have to do because now DCF is telling me, if you don't do this, we're going to take your kids because you're neglecting your kids.
And they have to eat. And we are providing you with these resources.
So
take them.
So I went and I got, he brought me down there. DCF brought me there. We did the application. I got food stamps and I got cash assistance. And the next move was to go in the shelter. And so that was my fear. I know I needed to leave the house, but I heard shelter is bad and, you know, you have to leave 6 a.m. in the morning and you have to be there by 6 in the evening. Not true. For the domestic violence shelters or safe homes, you get to stay there. You get a room, if you have children, for yourself with your children. And if you are single, as you don't have children, you share a room with someone. It was the best thing ever.
Wow.
I couldn't take anything but maybe 2 garbage bags with clothes for me and the boys and their favorite toys. And so we went to the shelter. It was different. It was nothing that we are familiar with or accustomed to. But I remember going there and I slept so long and so hard. There was no more Ishoda. There was nothing to remind me of him. Finally, freedom is beginning to look free. And I don't know who told him that possibly I could be in the shelter. And so he sent me some voice note, worthless, dirty gal, Ghana infirmary with the children, with her children. No, not with his children or with her children, but with your children. And he goes on Facebook and he dragged me.
Oh.
And he did the most. Now, everybody back home in my community, because they're familiar with him, they know him, they're seeing what's happening. And now my mom is clueless. And so persons are saying, Miss Sharon, how is Amanda doing? And she's like, oh, she's good. I talked to her yesterday. Not knowing that when she called, I have to muster up the strongest voice, the strongest version of me for the 10, 5, 20 minutes conversation.
Oh my gosh. Like I'm sitting beside you, but I can just, you know, empathize with you. And I can't imagine the pain, but also the strength that it takes to relive this moment again. Amanda, I am so grateful. When I say thank you, because not many people have that level of courage and strength to come forward to share. And not just to share, but to bring awareness to these issues. So believe me, I am grateful. You never know who's on the other end, who needs to hear and see someone who has been there and to hear that, yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
There sure is.
So Amanda, I know I'm asking you to go back, but in that moment, having to pretend for your mom, because that was what it was. You were pretending. What were those calls like though? Because you couldn't tell her what life was like, because you had your dreams. And I started off by asking you, who was Amanda before? You had dreams, you had goals, you have expectations. I'm sure your loving family too could not have imagined that their beautiful daughter or their sister would end up in America in an abusive relationship and now having to seek refuge in a shelter. So what was it like having to pretend and still maintain a relationship and conversations with your family and with your mother?
I must say it wasn't easy, because my mom, if my mom called me 2 times, and don't get me, she's calling Canada as though Canada is right on the street. That's how she is. My mom, I gather strength from her. She's very affirming, and she is my tower of strength, I must say. And so I knew if I told her, she would have said, come home. But I can't leave my babies. I'm not leaving my babies. And so I didn't want that in my hearing. And so I didn't said anything to her. I told her eventually, not everything, because this that I'm sharing, she don't know the tiny details. Oh. And so I'm calling her video call, and now the setting is changing. So I said to her, Mom, my kid's dad, I said at the time, we're not working out, right? And I'm going to stay with a church sister. And the questions start coming in. Are you okay? What is going on? Da, da, da. And I said, I cannot talk about it right now, but I'm okay. And so the calls that used to be maybe 2-3 times per week becomes every day. Because she wants to know that I'm okay. She wants to know that her grandchildren are fine. And so I said to her, I'm at my church sister, but at the shelter, there is a playground and we have a room. So I would just call and we're talking. I'd cook. We get the opportunity to cook our own meal. And so I'd maybe in the kitchen and we'd do the WhatsApp call and she'd see me cooking. And we would laugh and, and so she gets that I'm okay. The kids are happy. The kids are always joy. And so the transition was too much of a stress. I was thinking, because my oldest was diagnosed with autism by this. He has mild autism. His autism is not physical, it's more communicational. Okay. And so he would function. And when he goes there, we were thinking that the change would affect him, but it didn't. It was smooth transition. He was happy, and so on and so forth. And I talked to my mom, and she would know, always, every time she knows somebody's coming, she would try to send a 50 for her grandchildren or send something. And so now she's eager to do more. And I'm like, Mom, no, it's okay. We're fine. And I'm now in the shelter, and I now start the divorce process through legal aid. Legal aid is also
a blessing. Yeah.
Use the resources, because the resources are there. And so in legal aid, I was advised that I can divorce. And I also got advice about VAWA, to file for my own documents on my own, not through my husband, but on my own. Because once you are a victim of domestic violence and you have solid proof that this relationship is not a fake relationship, you can get to your VAWA. And you don't have to be married to the person. I want to say that. And so I went to the legal aid office, and I start working on the divorce. Because by this time, I know this is not what I want for myself. I know that this is not good for me and my children. And I know definitely that this is not how I want to raise my boys. And so I sat with the legal aid, we did the divorce papers, and I got stuck. Because as a Christian, as a believer, you don't divorce. But when I sit down and I read the word of God, and who he's telling me that I am is not how I'm living. And how he says a husband is supposed to treat their wife, that's not what I was receiving. And I don't encourage divorce, but I also grow to understand that a lot of persons married wrong. And if you marry wrong, married to somebody that the Lord didn't give you, you are going to go through hell. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. So that's one way to check if this was of God. And so I prayed, I fasted, I seek God, because God, I don't want to make no more mistake. Life is rough by itself. I don't want to do anything else. But the more I get into the word, the more I'm feeling that this is not what God wants for me. And so I remember I was talking to my bishop, and, Bishop knew what I was going through, because from we were married and going through the island lows, he was coming to the house to pray, he was giving counsel, and he saw that he wasn't receptive. And so I called him and I said, I'm going to do the divorce. And he said, I'll be praying for you. But okay, he said, I don't have the power to tell you not to or to. But if you're going to do it, I'm here for you. And so the immigration paperwork started. Everything started flowing, divinely connected through same legal aid. And I put in the paperwork. They let me know that I can divorce if I want to. And so I seek God. And when I got my okay, I put in the papers. So the lawyer could serve him the divorce paper. But God was so intentional. God didn't want me to divorce him. God wanted him to divorce me.
Because you needed to have a clear conscience.
Right. And so with this, it's about 6 months. It's filled out. It just needs to be submitted, right? I okayed my lawyer to serve him. And the day before he got served, I got served by him. So with this, he had someone that was pregnant about 8 months. Yes. And so that person wanted to be married, or they want to make sure whatever we had going on was done. So he was forced or encouraged to divorce. And so he sent the paper. And so when I was served, he called me freaking out that I wanted to divorce him, knowing that he also served me. And so he's begging me not to sign the papers. And I'm like,